So you're trying to grow as a content creator in the live streaming world. Does it really matter what game you choose or what type of content you choose to create? Let's talk about why it does and why it doesn't, and let's unpack it together. Stay tuned.
I'm the CEO, it's Mega Chop, you already know.
So you're trying to find out, does it make a difference on what game do I choose or what type of content do I choose to create while I'm live streaming on Mixer or Twitch? And someone says, you should not stream this game, there's way too many streamers, you're never gonna grow. Someone else says you have to stream this game because it's the only way you're going to grow. And then you have somebody who chimes in and says, stream whatever you want as long as you're having fun. And honestly, there's some truth in all of those. We're going to take a look at all these different thoughts and ideals, kind of piece them together, and look at analytics. If you guys saw my streaming platform comparison video, you would have seen I love analytics. So I'm excited to dive into these with you today. And we're going to look at how I made certain game choices when I was growing on Mixer that ultimately led to my partnership on the platform. In the meantime, though, I would love to talk about any and all content contained in this video, or any of my videos for that matter, with you live. I'm over on Twitch Monday, Wednesday, and Friday evenings at twitch.tv/megachopceo. The link is going to be down below. Feel free to drop by. I'm happy to discuss streaming at any time while we are live. Or hit me up on my socials while I'm not live. I'll chat about it there too. To preface the streaming platforms that we're going to talk about in this video, we're going to be speaking about Twitch and Mixer specifically, for a couple of different reasons. One, these are the two platforms that I have really good immediate experience on looking into analytics with. Two, Mixer is a small enough platform so we can use their directory for this approach. Twitch has a phenomenal third-party site with great analytics that we can dive into. And ultimately, Facebook and YouTube, I did some digging and I couldn't find any really good third-party analytics sites, nor was there any first-party analytics on their sites that I thought was useful for this approach. I would love if anybody knows of any for Facebook or YouTube to drop them in the comments below. I would be more than happy to make a similar video after I've had some time to dig in and research some of the numbers and just give you my thoughts on ideas on where to look on those platforms as well. In content creation, there is so much more than video games. Video games is the crux of my experience in this, but I've also done IRL and some pet type streams. We have snakes, we've done some feeding, some holding type streams, which have been fun. But this really applies to just chatting, music, creative, all different categories that there are available on the different streaming platforms. So don't limit yourself to just games. If you're great at fixing vehicles, I would absolutely live stream that. On a side note, there's really almost no content out there for that, at least on Mixer and Twitch. Go for it. We're going to start with don't play this game, there's way too many streamers playing it, you'll never grow. Fortnite is a really great example of this because it's been massive on every platform that it's been on. If we look at Mixer over the last 7-day average, unfortunately that's as far as the analytics that we have access to can go back, but we're going to use that. The average streamers was about 5,500 streamers playing Fortnite. If we look at Twitch across a year of data, again, they've got a third-party site that goes back years. It's got great data. They have an average of about 7,000 live streamers on their platform at any moment in Fortnite. So if we look at those numbers, it's certainly not great numbers for discoverability. If you're sitting with low or no viewership, you're going to be 1 in 5,500 or 1 in 7,000. Those aren't great odds, but it's certainly not impossible odds. And these odds will definitely differ based upon your viewership. If you're just starting out with 0 viewers, you're going to be clumped in with a mass amount of people sitting at 0 viewers. If you have at least a few viewers, you're going to bump up in that. But again, it's still 1 in thousands of people who are streaming that game. The next is, hey, you should play this game because you will be guaranteed to grow. These could be games that maybe aren't top tier. Maybe they're a little bit lower in the directory. Nothing wrong with them, just not huge games. Sea of Thieves or Madden would be great examples, because on Mixer, they don't pull a ton of viewership and a ton of streamers. And you can look in the directory. If you start streaming even with 0 viewers, you're not going to be buried in the directory of streamers, already increasing your opportunity to be discovered, especially if your stream is laid out in a way that would be attractive to the eyes when you first pull up the directory. Now, if you look on Twitch for these two same games, they average around 200 streamers. So in that ballpark, you're going to be about 1 in 200 content creators. Way better chances of being discovered. Again, still difficult because there's going to be a bunch of streamers sitting at around 0 viewers. And if you're at 0 viewers, you're going to be clumped in that bunch. Otherwise, if you've got friends, family that you're like, hey, come and support me, and you've got a few viewers to your name, you're going to be bumped up, because Twitch has some filters that when you're looking through their directory, you can filter in other ways than just high to low viewership. There's best recommended for you, which is how I filter all of mine, so that I can find streamers who are not just top viewership overall. The last that we talked about is playing what's fun for you. It's a great point. You definitely should play something that's fun. You don't want to play something that you loathe playing or hate playing, because people are going to very obviously see this on your face. They're going to get it from your body language when you're streaming, and they're going to dip pretty quick. So you do want to play something that you enjoy playing, and if you can play something that you're very passionate about, that's even better. The thing to keep in mind is, why are you streaming? What is your goal? What are you trying to accomplish? Is it just to have fun? Is it to have fun and grow? Is it more in the growth realm? Are you having more fun if you're doing some growing? Where do you land in that spectrum? There's no wrong place in the spectrum. So if you fall into, I want to have fun, and part of that fun is growing, then I would definitely factor in what games you enjoy based upon how can you be discovered potentially on the streaming platform. Again, being discovered on these streaming platforms isn't the best way. There are certainly other ways that we can cover in other videos on how to be discovered better, but you still can be discovered on these platforms, and I want to take some actual real-life applicable step-by-steps and show you. I'm going to pull up some websites here in a moment. We're going to look through Mixer and take a look at how I evaluated what games I was going to play. We're also going to pull up the Twitch third-party website, Twitch Tracker, and look at how we can apply that same methodology and logic to finding what games you might want to play on Twitch that still give you an opportunity to be discovered. Starting with Mixer, I'm going to pull up the website in just a moment, but wanted to preface this. An important note on the time of day that you do this is critical. If you are looking at this in the morning, but you're really a nighttime streamer, all the data that you're pulling up doesn't make a difference. Because if you watch streaming platforms morning, noon, and night, or overnight, there's a change in who's streaming, where they're streaming, what are they streaming. There's a change in how many viewers view what game at what times. So you want to make sure the data and the information that you're pulling is during the time that you would be live. Leading up to that time and during the time that you're live would be important to know. So we're going to pull up Mixer's website, and we're going to look at their categories and dig into it from there. Here we've got the categories pulled up. I'm going to click categories again just to refresh and make sure we have the most up-to-date numbers on Mixer. As we look through here, you're going to see the top games obviously have the highest viewership. If you have, say, 0 to 10 viewers and you're really wanting to figure out, okay, where can I look to grow? I would say somewhere in the games that are pulling on average viewership of maybe 100 to about 500, give or take. The viewership can be drastically varied, where one game may have 100 viewers and it's all on 2 streamers, or another game may have 500 viewers and it's across 20 streamers. It just depends on what you're interested in playing. So let's take Overwatch as an example. A wildly popular game in the past, still very popular. On Mixer, not so much. On Twitch, you would see definite differences in the numbers. But on Mixer here, there's 391 current viewers. If you have 5 viewers, you would be within the top 3 rows. So that would be a great game to pick if you're in that ballpark. If we scroll down, you're going to see if you're at 0 viewers, you're already getting buried quite far down on the page on just Overwatch. So if we go back to categories and let's take a look at another game, say League of Legends. This one, again, if you're at around 5 viewers, you're going to be doing pretty good. We more quickly get to the channels with 0 viewers or 1 viewer. So this could be a better spot, and it's not a bad idea if you have friends or family that would be happy to pull up your stream. That'll help give you a little bit of a bump on these pages too. Now, if you're in the rough 20 viewership range, maybe say 10 to 20 range, you can look probably up to 600 or 700 viewers and still be okay on this dashboard. I mean, let's pull up Madden. If you have 15 to 20 viewers, you're going to be in the top 3 streamers for Madden. And that's a great spot to be, because more people, when they come in and check out Madden, are likely to click on these top couple rows, then continue down on the path of streamers who are there. As you're looking at this strategy, an important point that I want to note for any platform is a general rule of 3 has been pretty solid, and that's going to be 3 months. Try a strategy, go all in for at least 3 months. If you're going to try playing Overwatch, commit to that for at least about 3 months and give it your best. Put out some great social media posts, generate some hype around you and the content that you create. The important part is not to focus primarily on the game, because you want people coming for you and the content you create, because games can change. You're going to be the steadfast as they change. Next, we're going to look at twitchtracker.com. That's the third-party website that I mentioned before that will provide you a lot of very valuable Twitch statistics. It has actually annual data, monthly data, daily data. It breaks things down at incredible levels per game, per streamer, viewers, average view. It's amazing. I would encourage you to go and check it out if you stream on Twitch or are interested in streaming on Twitch. It's fun to click around and just get some information out there. We're going to start on Twitch Tracker on the Games tab. I've already clicked there. I just clicked it again to make sure that our data is up to date. Forgive me for not using the dark version of this website. These bars disappear as soon as I do that. I'm not just a heathen. On Twitch Tracker, we're going to go to the Games tab. I'm going to make sure that we have a fresh filter. Then we're going to click on Average Channels. This is going to be how many average streamers are there at a time streaming the game. And here we're going to go down. You're going to see the numbers be awfully high on these top games and start to drop dramatically as we go through the list. Forgive me for going quick. I want to make sure that we get this information in a good amount of time for you. So we want to be at about the 20 to 25 streamer range. So you see it took us all the way till page 30 to start to get there and to try and get some data that we can use. Because if there's 20 to 25 streamers, there's a much better opportunity of being discovered than if there's 7,000 plus, right? So you can dig through here. I would look for games that you're interested in playing, and you can look in these further. Super Smash Brothers Melee is a great example. It's a great game. You can see that it averages 22 channels over the last 7 days in specific, with approximately 600 viewers. That's definitely a solid amount of viewership per how many channels are there. So this would definitely be a good consideration. There's on average 28 viewers per channel at any given time. Obviously, they're not broken down evenly across streamers, right? But if you're one of 22 other content creators that are on at that moment, you still have a chance, if you're scrolling up and down in the directory, to get discovered potentially quicker than others, especially if people have recommended for them as their filter, which I have set to default on Twitch. In the end, really the basis for this strategy is trying to find a game that has solid enough viewership but not oversaturated with other content creators. This gives you that opportunity to get discovered, like we've stressed throughout the whole video. Now, there are sometimes game anomalies that you will find. We're going to look at a couple of these. They're Teamfight Tactics and StarCraft 2. Now, StarCraft 2 and Teamfight Tactics give you a rough average of 60 viewers per live channel. Now, there are more live channels than I told you probably want to dip into, but there can be exceptions. Something that I would keep in mind when you look at these two games in specific is they're rather competitive games. They have a very solid competitive audience, and they are definitely in esports. So that can tend to have people who are looking for individuals who have a more established skill base in the game. So if you're brand new to these, I'm not saying that you can't start live streaming them and learn. If you're in it for the long haul, you can definitely hop in and learn it as you learn live streaming. And if we switch over to Teamfight Tactics, here you see Teamfight Tactics, roughly around 60 average viewers, around 400 channels, and 24,000 average viewers. That's pretty crazy. Again, many more channels than StarCraft 2, but just trying to give you some variety and different looks and takes on how we break apart this data. And here is our bonus category of just chatting. I want to talk about this one in specific because it has blown up massively. There has been incredible growth in this avenue, and if you look, there's roughly at any given time about 70 viewers per channel. Obviously a lot of channels here, almost 3,600 channels on average, and there's over 250,000 average people watching though. This is the way that I start out all of my live streams, with about an hour to an hour and a half of just chatting, because I love to sit and talk with my audience about what's important to them, to share my thoughts, talk about latest game updates, talk about life. Sometimes my family will hop in and kind of chit chat with us. This is a great opportunity not only to connect with your audience, but we've gained multiple new members to our community and grown in this way, and my concurrent viewership right now is anywhere from about 10 to 15. So I don't have the highest viewership in this list, but we've still had the opportunity to have some exposure in here. And if you love talking with people, I would absolutely suggest doing this. Or if you're on Mixer, I had a lot of success in the IRL category, grilling, cooking, anything that we were doing in real life, we did it there. And there's not a ton of people in that channel in that category. So I would give it a shot. It's a lot of fun. Now, even though the statistics and analytics that we picked apart were from Mixer and Twitch, these same concepts, these same ideas apply no matter what platform you're looking at. So I would encourage you to apply some of the same ideals and concepts to Facebook or YouTube or any other platform that you may be live streaming on. Just because we talked about these strategies on Mixer and Twitch specifically doesn't mean that they won't work on any other platforms. I would encourage you to apply the same ideals and tactics when you're looking at Facebook or YouTube or any other streaming platform for that matter. And if you want to talk to me more about this concept or ideas that we talked about in the video, I would love to live over on Twitch Monday, Wednesday, and Friday evenings at twitch.tv/megachopceo. The link is down below. I look forward to talking to you there. And don't forget, smash that like, subscribe, and click that bell for notifications so that we can do this again next week.